a native chart, a chart of a native was to be taken today. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Am I right? So
Very
should we directly start with the chart, or should we wait for 1 or 2 minutes for other people to join?
So
No,
let
We
sir,
shall
we
start.
already.
We
we are
shall start. We are
already
ready.
Okay, we are already 10 minutes late, है ना? So
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
in fact, I was attending a phone call by somebody, so that's why it took me off.
No
So
problem, sir.
right. So then let me share the chart. Okay. The data has already been given to you. So the data for the today's chart. Can you see the chart?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now is the chart visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good, fine.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Today we are to discuss this chart. Now the chart, the date of birth is given, the time of birth is given, longitude, latitudes are given, right? Now I learned that we have already discussed last time also details about the marriage event,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? So then today we will focus our attention on this chart as to how, by looking at the chart of a native, we are in a position to find out what will be the date of marriage of this native. Okay. Now I will not discuss. I will not discuss the conditions as to what are the necessary conditions for marriage event to happen. Okay, we have already discussed it last time. Is there any need? Should I repeat it again, or should I straight away carry on with the chart?
Slightly
Yes,
we will
sir.
repeat, sir.
Okay,
Slightly we will
okay,
discuss.
okay. So for the event of marriage, the ascendant, the seventh cusp, the 11th cusp, their sublords are very important. That is one point. Now, in addition to this, if somebody puts a question regarding the love marriage, then in that case, the fifth sublord is also very important. Now, what is the important condition for the event of marriage to happen? The ascendant sublord should be linked to either 5 or 7 or 11. If the ascendant sublord is linked to 5 or 7 or 11, it establishes beyond doubt that the marriage is likely to happen for the native. Now, last time also I pointed out that marriage is such an event which in 99%, I would say 99.5% cases, marriage would happen. Now, there are hardly one in many thousand cases where the person does not say he does not have marriage, or he turns out to be sannyasi, or the event of marriage is not possible. But for 99% cases, marriage is to happen. Now, if somebody comes to us and asks us that when my marriage is to happen, so our first answer will be definitely your marriage is going to happen. We will have to analyze the chart, and on the basis of the analysis of the chart, we can pinpoint as to what is the probable date for the marriage, what is the probable year for the marriage. So the ascendant sublord should be linked to 5 or 7 or 11. That is the first important point. The second important point is that the seventh sublord, it should link to 5 or 7 or 11. Now here we have to follow two different conditions. The first condition is that there has to be a promise for the marriage. And the promise for the marriage is seen by looking into the linkages of the seventh sub-sublord. Seventh sub-sublord should link to 5 or 11 through its star lord, and finally seventh cusp through its sublord, or the seventh sub-sublord links to the seventh cusp through its star lord, and 5 or 11 through its sublord. Now in the first case, when you have 5 or 11 through the star lord and 7 through the sublord, it is an indirect linkage. And if the seventh sub-sublord is linked to seventh cusp through the star lord and fifth or 11 through the sublord, it's a direct linkage. Now what is important in the promises? The importance is that 7 should appear either at the involvement level or it should appear at the commitment level. If 7th cusp is not appearing at the involvement or at the commitment level, then in that case we can say that such planet is a very weak planet that will not allow the event of marriage to happen. The third point is that we have also to look at the 11th sub-sublord, and if the 11th sub-sublord is linked to the 7th cusp, then it means that there is a promise of marriage for the native. So appearance of 7 either at the involvement level or at the commitment level is very, very important, and without the involvement or commitment of 7, the event of marriage cannot happen. So that is one important point. Now the second point which is important is that how could we know that the marriage of a native is an early marriage, or the marriage event is not going to happen, or it is a delayed marriage, or it is a very, very late marriage? Now you know that the marriage event is a Lagna based event, and for all Lagna based events, cusp 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, they are all favorable cusp. What do I mean by saying that? That if the ascendant or the 7th sub-sublord is linked to only 5, 7 and 11 with no unfavorable cusp appearing, then such a native is going to have marriage at a normal age. The normal age of the marriage, as per what has been fixed by the government, is 22 years. So you could say that 22 years is the normal age of the marriage, and at the same time, if 5, 7 and 11, they are linked to 1, 3 and 9, then you can say with certainty that the marriage of such a native will be an early marriage. Now, if along with 5, 7 and 11, you have linkages of 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12, then you say that the marriage of such a native is delayed marriage. And delayed, by saying delayed marriage, I would mean that in such a case, when 5, 7 and 11 are also linked with 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12, then the marriage of such a native is likely to happen in the age of 28 years to 35 years. Then the marriage can also be delayed, because in Kaspal interlink we don't talk about the Vish Yoga or we don't talk about the Punarvi Yoga. Yet on the basis of my experience, I have found that if somehow Saturn appears as star lord, sublord or sub-sublord of moon, or Moon appears as star lord, sublord, or sub-sublord of Saturn, then in such cases, you say it is a Punarfu Yoga. The event of marriage will occur at a late stage, and the marriage in such cases is likely to happen. If I'm talking about the females, it is after 28 years of age, and if I talk about males, then in such cases the marriage usually happens in the age of 30 to 35 years. Now, if you look at the present chart, it's a good example of Punarfu Yoga. If you look at the present chart, you find here that moon is present in the star of Saturn. Now, the presence of moon in the star of Saturn or sub of Saturn or sub-sub of Saturn usually delays the marriage, and it will happen around 30, 31 years or maybe beyond that age. If on the contrary, moon is not present in this star or sub-sub of Saturn, rather Saturn is present in the star, in the sub, and in the sub-sub of moon, then in such cases the marriage is delayed, and the marriage of such a person can happen after 26 years of age. So the two type of linkages here, this linkage, appearance of say Saturn as the star lord or sub-lord or sub-sublord of moon delays the marriage to a longer period of time, whereas on the contrary, if moon is there as star lord, sub-lord, and sub-sublord, then this is not a very strong Punarfu Yoga. So the marriage happens around 26, 27 years of age, subject to the condition that the linkages 5, 7, and 11 are not linked to unfavorable linkages like 2, 4, 6, 10, 12. Is it clear, please? Is this point clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us analyze the present chart. If you have any questions to ask, you can please ask me questions. If there is any question to be asked.
What about extramarital relationship, sir?
Hanji?
Extramarital relationship.
Extramarital relationship, the other day I pointed out that whenever, if the 7th cuspal sub-sublord is linked to 9th, or the 5th cuspal sub-sublord is linked to 9th and linked to 12th, or the ascendant is linked to 5th, 8th and 12th, then in such cases a person is likely to have extramarital affairs. Now, I pointed out the other day also, we cannot say with absolute certainty he is definitely going to have extramarital relations, but the chances of extramarital relations are certainly there. So, ascendant sub-sublord, 5th sub-sublord, 7th sub-sublord, if these are linked to 9th, if they are linked to 9th cusp, if these are linked to 12th cusp, there is probability. And if the 5th cuspal sub-sublord, if it is linked to 5th, 8th and 12th, then you can say with some certainty that definitely this person is having many love affairs. So love affairs could be, you can say to the extent of extramarital affairs. You can say it like that. But there is no particular, I would say that I cannot say that the person will definitely have extramarital affairs, because in certain cases it has been observed that in spite of 5, 8 and 12, the person is devoid of all such affairs. So it is, you can say that there is probability. There is probability. When 5th gets involved, the probability is more. If it is 7 and 12, there is some probability, right? Because 9 to 7, see, 9th to 7 is the multiplicity of relations. The third cusp to any cusp is a multiplication of that cusp.
That means, sir, is it called as unhappy married life.
Definitely. Now, if a person
But
is going to have an extramarital affairs and he is having linkages of 5, 8, and 12 along with say 6 and 6 also along with 2 also, then you can say that it is going to be unhappy. It is going to be an unhappy married life. So there will always be some kind of tip between the husband and wife. Involvement, say the involvement of 6 and 12 definitely indicates, because 6 is 12 to 7 and 12 is now you see 6 is 12 is 12th to the native. So both the native as well as the partner, they are not having, or the spouse, they are not having very cordial relations. Appearance of 6 and 12 definitely indicates. And if 6 and 12 appear along with 4 and 10, then if such combinations are there in the star lord, in the sublord, and finally confirmed by the sub-sublord, then there is every probability that a divorce is likely to happen between such a couple.
sorry, along with the 5, 7, 11, there is a ninth signification. Is there any problem? Is there any problem?
Yeah, no, there is no problem. There is no problem at all. But there is a probability of second marriage if 6 and 12 are very strongly appearing.
That means it is a bad indication.
I would not say it's a bad indication. Yeah, I would not say it's a bad indication.
Generally, it is the cusp of
See, look here. Now, when you talk about the chart, and when you cast a chart along with the rectified time period, then the position of all these planets, they are fixed. The position of planets in the different cusps, that is also fixed. Now, in the native chart, if 9 is appearing, that would not necessarily mean that he is going to have a second marriage. 9th means what? He may have travels. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, see, a single cusp has so many significations. Now, which signification is actively participating, it has to be seen depending upon the type of question. So, if somebody comes, some lady comes and asks you a question or puts up a question, and you cast his chart, and the rectified time period, the birth time period is known to us, you cast the chart, and if we find that there is a linkage of 7 with 9, and the lady is suspicious about her husband, then you can say that yes, there is a probability of this kind of relation. If it is 12 also, it adds to it, percentage further increases. If 8 is also there, then definitely the person is going to have extramarital relations.
Sir, actually, this ninth cusp is favorable for ascendant and the seventh cusp, except 11.
Yes.
What is the problem, sir? Why it is indicating the bad?
No, it's not indicating. See, having love affair is not that is considered to be bad. Bad in what way? A person can have so many friends, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
See, socially getting married and involving in another lady, that's something bad, because it's socially not acceptable. Am I right?
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir.
Now, if it is operating, you get my point?
Okay.
If 8 is operating, then the person, and 3rd is not operating, then the person doesn't have courage to say he is having this kind of affairs. So it's a hidden affair which is likely to happen. Maybe at some stage he may be caught. Okay. Appearance of 9th is not bad. Appearance of 9th is an indication, and it is not, you cannot say with 100% certainty that the person is definitely having an extramarital affair. You can't say like that. You can say that there is a probability. Now, that in that probability he may or he may not succeed.
Sir, I have a request, sir.
Kahiye,
Can
please.
we go ahead with the subject on the hand?
Yes. Okay.
At the end,
So
we will take
okay. Now let us discuss this chart.
Sir,
Right?
one more second, sir. Miss Nagamalleshwara garu, please mute చేసుకోండి. చాలా నాయిస్ వస్తుంది మీకు.
Yeah. It is.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, so we carry on with this chart. We discuss this chart. So the present chart is with us. Now here you know the significations of the various planets. Yes, one thing more I want to tell you. Now we had discussed about the details of the childbirth last time, and last to last lecture.
Yes, sir.
So that will be the all those details would be appearing in Murthyji's magazine, which is coming next month. I have shared the same chart and I have given all details for that chart. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
It is in,
Congratulations.
yes, sir.
Nice.
Thank you so much. So in that I have explained everything, every point I have explained minutely, so you could get to it, how the time of delivery of the childbirth, that is, concluded. So back here to our chart. Now, for this native, the question that was asked was that when this native is going to get married, right? Now I pointed out the very first point, which is important here, is that I find here that moon is present in the star of Saturn, which means there is a strong Punarfu yoga. And as there is a strong Punarfu yoga, so the marriage event of this native is likely to happen after 28 years of age, right? After 28 years of age. Now, if I add 28 years to 1997, then the year would be 2025. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But now this is on the basis of looking at the Punarpu Yoga. I have concluded of my own that the marriage is likely to happen only after 2025. Now the question here is कि having a Punarpu Yoga does not always mean that the marriage will happen at this particular time period or beyond this time period. So I have also to assess, I have also to check whether it is possible that the marriage can happen during the Dasha of Ketu or not. So when I look into the Dasha of Ketu, the Dasha of Ketu ends on 26th of November 2023. And in 2023, the person will be of 26 years of age. Right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now the question is, can he celebrate his marriage in Ketu Dasha? So to have a look, to have an idea as to whether he is going to get married in Ketu Dasha or not. Now if I look into this time period, now Ketu Dasha and Mercury Bhukti will be the only period that I can probably think that the native can get married if transit allows and if Bhukti permits. Okay. So here,
Okay, sir.
now see, before 2022, there is no probability of marriage. So 29 November 22 to 26 November 2023, you have one full year when he'll be 26 years in age. So I can think that there may be some probability of marriage if the Bhukti Lord commits and if the Dasha Lord also, permits the marriage to happen. Now, if you look at Mercury, here in the present chart, if you look at Mercury is in Venus. Mercury is in Venus sub. Mercury is in Venus star. Mercury is in Venus sub. I will bunch these two. So I would take Mercury in Venus star, Mercury in Ketu sub, and Mercury in Venus sub. Mercury does not have a PS. If you look at the significations of Mercury, Mercury is the sublord of seventh cusp, which indicates that there is a probability of marriage during the bhakti of Mercury, but only by looking into that Mercury is present in seventh cusp. I cannot say, because Mercury has no PS. And since Mercury has no PS, thereby I need to look into the significations of Mercury. Now Mercury is in the star of Venus, Mercury is in the sub of Ketu, and Mercury is in the sub of Venus. If you look at the significations of Venus, Venus is present as fifth. Venus is present as fifth sign lord. Venus is present as fifth sign lord, that is one. And then Ketu, Mercury is present in Ketu sub. Ketu is not a significator of 5, 7 and 11. Ketu is neither present in 5, nor Ketu is present in 7, nor Ketu is present in 11. Thereby, Ketu does not signify any of the three important cusps. Hence, Ketu denies marriage. But Ketu represents two planets. One is Saturn and the other one is Jupiter. Now, if I presume Ketu to be present, Ketu, if I presume here that Ketu is Saturn, so Venus is giving me 5, Ketu through Saturn is also giving me 5. Now the necessary condition for marriage to happen is that the involvement of 7 is not there. Thereby, substituting Ketu with Saturn will also deny the marriage. Now, if I take Jupiter, then Jupiter here gives me, if you look at the significations of Jupiter, Jupiter is 7th star lord. Jupiter here is 7th star lord, it is 11th star lord. So, if I presume Ketu to be Jupiter, then Venus is giving me 5th. Ketu as Jupiter is giving me 7 and 11, and Venus again is giving me 5 here. Now, in spite of the fact that Mercury is fulfilling the conditions for the marriage event to happen, yet I would say I have not selected this Mercury to be a strong bhukti to enact the event of marriage. Do you know why? See, I again repeat what I said. What is important?
There is no direct connection.
No. See, Mercury through Venus is giving us 5th cusp, and Ketu through Jupiter is giving us 7 and 11. So 5 is there, 7 is there. It is an indirect relationship we are having. It is not necessary that you need to have direct relation, directly or indirectly. It can be either way.
Why do you reject, sir? Why do you reject?
Yes, that is the point. That is the point. Can anybody tell me, or can anybody have any idea as to why Mercury is rejected?
Sir, it is not connected with 7 sub-lord, sir.
It is connected. No, it is there. 7th sub-lord. Connection of Mercury with 7th sub-lord. It is Bhukti Lord, no?
Negative forces.
No. See,
Star Lord in the 12.
No. Now look here.
Also.
Okay, now I'll give you the answer to this question.
Sir, Venus is 6th Lord SSL, sir.
Venus is 5th Lord SSL.
6th.
No, that is there. Correct. Very true. Now Venus is 6th SSL. Right? Now, Why Mercury is not being selected as a Bhukti, though Mercury is a co-ruler of the seventh cusp? The answer to this is
Sir,
that the
Mercury
linkage
is the star lord of the eight Bhava, sir.
eighth bhava, that is one point, but eighth bhava is not bad for marriage. Eighth bhava is not bad for marriage. Eighth is second to seventh. Second to seven means the expenditure which the other party is to make on the marriage. So it is not bad to marriage. Eighth is bad to ascendant. It is bad to ascendant, means hurdles are there. Hurdles are there, obstacles can be there, but it cannot deny marriage.
But here Saturn also connected with the 6 and 12 also, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Now the point is that Mercury here is very, very weak. Why it is very weak? Because Venus is fifth sign lord, which is very weak. Okay. Then Ketu as Jupiter is 7 and 11th. 7 and 11th. Ketu as Jupiter is 7 and 11th star lord. So the linkage 5 sign lord with the 7 and 11 star lord is a weak linkage. And then at the same time, Venus is sub-lord of 6th cusp. Venus, you know, it is linked to 6, 10 and 12. If you look here at the linkages, 6 is there, right? 10 is there and 12 is there. 6 sub-lord and 12 sub-lord. Venus is 6 and 12 sub-lord. Means delay in marriage is likely to be there. Okay. And if you look at the final confirmation, which is again being done by Venus, which is linked to 6 and 12, so it indicates that Mercury on the whole is a very, very weak bhukti that will delay the marriage and it cannot enact the marriage. Right? Now, another way to conclude is, if you look at the ascendant, now the 11th cusp for the ascendant rises in which sign? It rises in Scorpio. Am I right? See, what is 11th? 11th cusp. 11th is promise to marriage. 11th cusp is rising in which sign? Scorpio sign. Is it okay? And Scorpio sign is a fixed sign.
Yes, sir.
So, as the ascendant is rising in a fixed sign, for the 11th cusp, it means there is a delay in the marriage. As a result of which, Mercury is not a suitable bhukti, which can enact the event of marriage, because somebody has opened his microphone. Can you please switch off your microphone?
Sir, they have. Sir, Lagna is 9th bhava, sir. It's a Dvitsva bhava, the dual sign.
No. I'm talking about the ascendant.
Yes, sir, ascendant only.
Ascendant only. This ascendant, na? Now this ascendant is rising in which sign? The 11th cusp for this ascendant is rising in which sign? See, what I need to check is the ascendant sub-lord, the 7th sub-lord, and 11th sub-lord. Am I right?
Okay. In Bhav chart, it is in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. So 11th cusp is rising in Scorpio sign. Look here, Scorpio sign. Am I right? 11th cusp is rising in Scorpio sign. Is it okay?
Okay. Yes,
And Scorpio sign means fixed sign.
Correct.
So 11th cusp is rising in a fixed sign means delay in marriage. Why marriage is not happening in Mercury Bhukti? Because it's a weak Bhukti. Why it is weak Bhukti? There are 2-3 reasons for Mercury being a weak Bhukti. Reason number 1, it is present in the star of Venus, which is the sign lord of 5th cusp. That is one point. And secondly, Venus is, involving 6 as well as 12 at the sub-lord, at the sub level. That is one point. Second point is K2 is not present in 5 or 7 or 11. And as K2 is not present in 5, not present in 7, not present in 11, thereby K2 will not give marriage, is not a significator for the marriage. Then K2 as Saturn. Saturn, is giving us, Saturn is fifth sublord. So involving 5, committing to 5, again it is not fulfilling the necessary condition. So if I substitute Saturn for K2, it will not give marriage. Now if I substitute K2 with Jupiter, Jupiter is 7 star lord and 11 star lord. If you check here, it is 7 star lord and 11 star lord. And being 7th and 11th star lord along with 4th sublord, right? Along with the connection of 4th sublord. Now here, the linkage of 5th sign lord with 7th and 11th at the star lord level is indicative of a very weak linkage. It is not a strong linkage. What is important while concluding in a natal chart is that one of the two, either the star lord or the sublord, should be either the sublord or the sublord. And if instead of being the star lord or the sublord, I just write it here. I think it will be more clear.
Sir,
G.
sorry, in this case, Ketu represents Saturn and Jupiter. The Ketu,
Yes.
if you take Ketu as a Ketu represents Saturn and Jupiter. Summation of those things,
Okay.
the necessary condition and essential condition also satisfied, no?
Look here, K2 represents Saturn and Jupiter. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
We are talking about Mercury.
7. It is showing 7.
We are talking about Bhukti Lord, which is Mercury. Okay. Mercury is in Venus star. It is in K2 sub. And then it is again in Venus sub. Okay. Now if you look at K2, K2 is not giving us 2, 5 and 11. Right? Saturn is 5th A. A means sublord. Jupiter is 7C and 11C.
Yes.
Along with 4A. Right? Mercury has no PS.
Yes.
Okay. Venus is 5D, means at the sign lord level. Now, if I take here K2 as Saturn, then it involves 5 and commits to 5. Can the event of marriage happen? Answer is no.
No.
Because what is the essential condition? What is the necessary condition here? That involvement of 5, commitment by 7.
And 11.
Involvement of 7, commitment by 5 or 11. Now this condition is not fulfilled. If I write here 5th A, then this condition does not fulfill. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now if I take Venus as 5th sign lord, and now Ketu I am considering as Jupiter, which is 7C and 11C. Now involvement at the sign lord level and commitment at the star lord level is a very weak potential for the planet to enact the event. What is important here? What I was pointing out here? I was pointing out that if it would have been 5th A, 7C, or 7D, it is okay. You get this point?
Okay.
If it is 5D, and here I have, no, it is, I'm sorry, 7C, 7D, it is okay. If I am having 5D, then what is important here? 7D or 7A?
It's not okay.
It is okay. See, what I'm pointing out is that you need to have one of the cusp at the sublord or the sub-sub level. 5A means 5 sub-sublord. Should I write here sub-sublord?
Yes, sir.
5 sub-sublord. 7th star lord
Lord.
or 7th sign lord. It is okay. You get this point?
Yes, sir.
Now having 5th at the sign lord level, 7th at the sublord level, or 7th at the sub-sub level, it is okay. You get this point?
Sure.
These are strong relations. And the one which I have written over here, this one, is it strong?
7C.
It is 5th. It is 5th sign lord. Seventh star lord. 11th star lord. This is weak potential. Cannot enact.
Okay, sir.
Cannot enact the event. You get this point? Now this is very, very important. Now had it been Horary chart, then in the case of Horary chart, this would have been okay. See, there is a difference in the natal chart and in the Horary chart. Had it been in the Horary chart, then I would have said that this is okay. I would have said that this is okay. Nothing wrong with it. Because in Horary chart, a particular number is given. And for that particular number, the position of all the planets is fixed. So in those cases, we don't say weak or strong potential. We say that there is a potential to give the event. But when we are taking the case of a natal chart, then in such cases, we have to see the potential of the planet. Now here, such type of relations give weak potential. Thereby Mercury cannot be a suitable bhukti to enact the event of marriage. Is it clear, please?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Now, is it fine? So this is how you explain. So Mercury bhukti not possible. It means that Ketu dasha will go as such. So the marriage will not happen in the Ketu dasha. Now let us check it for Venus. If you look at Venus, now Venus dasha will give us a strong promise for marriage. Do you know why? Because Venus dasha, Venus is in the star of moon, and moon is very strongly placed at the 7th sub-sublord, placed at the 9th sub-sublord. Thereby Venus Dasha strongly promises the event of marriage. So the involvement of 7 is there.
Yes.
Sublord level, the commitment, I have already pointed out in this chart. I've already pointed out that involvement of 7 at the sub level, and then commitment of Venus as the 5th sign lord. It is a strong connection. Thereby the event of marriage is promised, and hence Venus Dasha is okay to give the event of marriage. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here we have to... G?
10th sub-lord also, moon represents 10th sub-lord also, sir.
No, but 10th sub-lord will not do anything as such. See, unless and unless 6 and 12 they are involved.
Yes, sir.
10th would mean what? Delay in marriage. 4th, involvement of 4 and 10 would mean delay of marriage. Involvement of 2, 4, 10 would mean delay of marriage. Involvement of 2, 4, 6, 10 would mean delay of marriage, nothing else. Now the tenure of delay is different for involvement of different cusps. If say 2, 4, 10 are involved, you say that delay can be 2, 3, 4 years. If we say the involvement of 6 and 12 is there, then you say that there is an abnormal delay. So the delay, the magnitude of delay will vary upon the involvement of the various cusps. In general, if 2, 4, 6, 10 and 12 are involved, you say it's a late marriage. So the marriage is likely to happen around 20 years, or maybe something around 20 years to 35 years of age. Okay, is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Now the next question is that we have to select a suitable bhukti, that which should be suitable bhukti in which the event of the marriage is likely to happen. So for this purpose, what we need to do is, we need to, write the significations of all the planets. All these planets, you have to write down the significations that they are appearing in which cuspal positions. So what is important for a bhukti? Which among these 9 planets can be a suitable bhukti? Can anybody tell that which planet you can select as a suitable bhukti?
One which connects to 5, 7 and 11.
I think moon also, sir.
Which connects to 5, 7 and 11. Okay, anybody else?
Sir,
Moon
4
also,
rulers
sir.
of the 7th bhava.
Yes. Now, what is important is any planet that
నాగమల్లేశ్వరరావు గారు మీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుందండి, మీరు ఏమైనా మాట్లాడాలంటే మాట్లాడండి.
somebody has opened his microphone.
నాగమల్లేశ్వరరావు గారు, please.
Okay, tell everybody to just switch off the microphone. Okay, now should I proceed? So among these planets, which is a suitable bhukti? Now a suitable bhukti is the one which is directly linked to the 7th cusp. That is one condition. Or a planet with a PS that is posited in 7th cusp. That is second condition. And if both these conditions are not there, then that particular planet should be a very, very strong significator of marriage giving houses. That is, it should give a strong promise of marriage. By saying strong for a promise of marriage means that the star lord, the planet at the star lord, should be either the sublord or the sub-sublord of 5, 7 or 11. And the planet at the sub-level should either be the sublord or the sub-sublord at the 5, 7 and 11 cusp, in the 5, 7 and 11 cusp. Only if this condition is fulfilled, then and only then the planet will act as a bhukti lord. Now, among all these planets, if you look at the cuspal co-rulers of the 7th cusp, the 7th cusp co-rulers, they are Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury and Moon. What does it mean? That among these 9 planets that I have with me, Jupiter, Mercury and Moon are the planets which are directly linked to the 7th cusp as the co-rulers of the 7th cusp, and hence the first priority has to be given over to these planets to be the Bhukti lords. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
For any
Yes.
planet to be Bhukti lords, one simple point which you always need to keep in mind is any planet can be a Bhukti lord if it is a co-ruler of seventh cusp. It means all the co-rulers of the seventh cusp, they can act as Bhukti lords. Right? That is one point which is important. Now the second point that is important is that any planet can be a Bhukti lord if Mercury, Jupiter and Moon, that is Jupiter, Mercury and Moon, that any of these planets can act as a Bhukti lord if these planets are present in the star or in the sub of Jupiter, Mercury or Moon. They can also act as Bhukti lords. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir. The moon is stronger than those.
No.
Moon
That
moon
is a separate point. That is a separate point. You are right. We have to follow in the sequential order. Now the first point is that here the Bhukti lords, they can be Jupiter, they can be Mercury, they can be Moon. Okay. The second point is, now if you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is present in the sub of, I'm sorry, Ketu is present in the star of Jupiter. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Ketu can be another planet. Then Moon is present in the sub of Jupiter. So Moon can be other planet. Moon we have already written over here. And then let us look at Mercury. Mercury is appearing as a star for Saturn. Saturn is present in the star of Mercury. So Saturn can be another planet. And Sun can be another. And then if we look at Moon, Moon is there for Jupiter and Venus. So the various planets which can act as Bhukti lords are Jupiter is there, so I will remove this Jupiter because Jupiter is also there. Moon is there, I will remove Moon because it is there. So Jupiter, Mercury, Moon, Ketu, Saturn, Sun and Venus, they can act as Bhukti lords. Okay. Our prime focus here will be on Jupiter, Mercury and Moon. And if somehow or the other these planets are not giving these significations strongly for the 5th, 7th and 11th cusp, then I'll have to focus on Ketu, Saturn, Sun and Venus. Clear, please?
Yes, sir.
So here, as Moon is already there, now we have to follow the sequential order. Starting from Venus up to Ketu, Moon is there. So Moon can be suitably selected as the Bhukti Lord. If you look at the significations of Moon, Moon is present in Saturn star. Saturn is giving us, it is sub-sublord of 5th cusp. Saturn is 5th cusp sub-sublord, right? Then Moon is present in Jupiter sub, which is giving us 7 and 11. So it's a strong relation. Fifth
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fifth at sub-sub level and 7 and 11 at the star lord level. Fifth at the star lord level, because Saturn is 5th sub lord and Jupiter is 7th star lord and 11th star lord. So it's a strong connection, it's a strong relation, it's a strong linkage. Thereby, Moon can be taken as a suitable Bhukti. And then finally, Moon is giving us a final confirmation in the form of Rahu, which is the sub-lord. And Rahu, you know, if you look at Rahu, Rahu is Sun and Venus. Rahu itself is 11th sublord. So I need not consider Rahu as Sun or Venus because Sun is here acting as 5th star lord, and Venus I have already discussed. It is 5th sign lord, and it is 6 and 12 sub-lord. So Moon is a suitable bhukti in which the event of marriage is likely to happen. Is it okay now?
Okay, sir.
Now, if Moon is selected as a suitable bhukti, then which should be the Antara lords among all these Antaras? How to select the Antara lord? Now, an Antara lord has to be a planet that is linked to the 7th, 5th, and 11th cusp. That is linked to primary cusp and the supporting cusp. Supporting cusp can be one, can be all. Now, if you look at the Antara lord, what do you think among these 9 planets, which can be the suitable Antara? Now, one point I would like to tell here is that when you talk about a planet and a planet can subsequently repeat, when does a planet subsequently repeats? It can only repeat, say if I'm talking of Moon Bhukti and I say Moon Antara, this is a subsequent repetition of the same planet. So a planet can subsequently repeated only if that particular planet is strongly giving us the promise of all the 3 cusps, which are say enacting the event of marriage, that is 5, 7, and 11. Is this point clear, please?
Okay, sir.
You get this point, what I am saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, Moon as Bhukti is okay. Now the question is we have to identify that which among these can suitably act as Antara lords. Any planet can act as Antara lord if it is linking to 7 or 5 or 11. Right?
Yes, sir.
That is one point. The second important point is, suppose if I want to repeat Moon as the Antara lord, then what is the essential condition? What is the necessary condition for this? That a planet can be subsequently repeated only if this planet is linked to all the 3 cusps, 5, 7, and 11, or is giving a strong promise of these cusps 5, 7, and 11. Now, by the term promise means that I have to focus my attention only to the star lord and sublord. Right? Focus my attention only to the star lord and the sublord. Now, if you look at Sun through Jupiter is linked to 7 and 11. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right? 7 and 11. Sun through Saturn, Ketu through Saturn is linked to 5. Ketu through Jupiter is linked to 7 and 11.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
right or not?
Uh,
And Mercury is giving us 7. So look here. If you write down the script of this planet.
Oh, sir, Mercury not at giving the 7.
Okay, Sun is Ketu, Ketu is Saturn, Ketu is Jupiter. Okay? Then Mercury. And then finally Saturn. I'm not concerned with Saturn. I only to look into the promise. Okay? Only promises to be seen. Now, what is the promise given by Ketu? Ketu is not appearing in 5, 7, and 11. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Saturn is appearing as 5th. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
And Jupiter is appearing in 7 and 11. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
And what about Mercury? Mercury is appearing in 7.
7 only.
7 only. Right? So
Yes, sir.
what linkages, what are the linkages for the promise? 5,
5, 7, 11.
7 and 11. All the three are there.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean? That Sun, had Sun come first in the sequential order, I would have selected Sun as the Antara Lord. Okay?
Okay, sir.
I write the script of Moon. Moon is in Saturn star and Moon is in Jupiter sub. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is Saturn? Saturn is in 5.
Yes, sir.
And what about Jupiter? 7 and 11.
Yeah.
What we are getting here?
5, 7, 11.
7, 11. Just hold for a minute. I'll be back. Somebody's on a call. नहीं मैं क्लास में हूँ मैं 10 मिनट में करता हूँ आपसे बात बस 10 मिनट हाँ क्लास चल रहा है 10 मिनट में बात करता हूँ नहीं महागुरु की नहीं वो दूसरी मूर्ति जी की हाँ जी अभी 10 मिनट में बात करता हूँ फ्री होकर हेलो
Okay, sir.
Sir, hearing.
Okay. So now what you find here, Moon is appearing for 5, 7 and 11. Is it right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
since it is giving me a promise for 5, 7 and 11, it means that I can select Moon as the Antara Lord. Okay, because Moon subsequently appears first, so Moon can be selected. Now had I take another example, to elaborate this point further. So now suppose if I take Mars. Mars is in Rahu, and Rahu is Sun and Venus. And then Sun and Venus, and then it is Mars is in Venus, right? Mars has PS. No, yes, it has PS. Now Mars is giving us which cusp? Mars is 11th sub-lord. It is giving me 11. Okay. Rahu is giving me 11. It is 11th sub-lord. What about Sun? It is 5th star lord.
5 only.
And this is 5th sign lord. And Venus is again 5 sign lord. Right?
Okay, sir.
Now what are the cusps that I am getting? It is 5 and 11 only.
5, 11.
So I am not getting here 7. It means Mars cannot be selected as the Antara Lord. See, my basic point is, it is appearance of moon as Bhukti Lord and then subsequent appearance of moon. Because whenever the Bhukti starts, the next Tantra which is to start will be of that planet only. Suppose here it was Mars. Suppose instead of moon Bhukti, it was Mars Bhukti. Suppose instead of moon Bhukti, it was Mars Bhukti, right? Which Tantra starts first? Mars. Is Mars satisfying the condition to act as an Antara Lord? Answer is no. Why? Because Mars is giving me only 5 and 11. In order to have Mars as the Antara Lord, what is important? It should have given a strong promise for 5, 7 and 11, all the three cusps. Only then this same planet can be repeated again and again. Is this point clear, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is the point. So selecting moon Bhukti, I can further proceed with moon Antara. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now the next point is I have to select a Sukshma Lord. So what I need to do to select a Sukshma Lord or a Prana Lord? How do I select that which has to be a suitable Sukshma or which has to be a suitable Prana Lord? The first important rule that always you need to keep in mind is that a Sukshma Lord
by sun.
Sukshma Lord be?
Translation of the sun.
sun to no sun to सबसे बाद में ना, you have to follow in sequential order.
अच्छा.
You see, you can't abruptly go to sun directly. Which are the seventh cuspal co-rulers? Seventh cuspal co-rulers are Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury and Moon. So it is Jupiter, Mercury, Moon. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It means Jupiter, Mercury, Moon, they are three strong planets which can suitably act as Sukshma Lord and Prana Lord. Why I am saying this? What is important for Sukshma and Prana Lord? The first important point you need to keep in mind for any planet to be a Sukshma Lord or a Prana Lord is that that particular planet has to be linked directly to the seventh cusp. Unless and until that planet is directly linked to the seventh cusp, it cannot be a Sukshma Lord. Right? So, for any planet to be Sukshma Lord, it should be linked to the seventh cusp, that is one. And in addition to this, it should also be linked to the supporting cusp. For Sukshma Lord, any one of the two supporting cusp or both the supporting cusp. But for Prana Lord, the Prana Lord has to link to all the three cusps, 5, 7 as well as 11. Is this point okay?
Okay, sir.
Now this is very, very important. See, this is very, very important because whenever you are trapped, you are always trapped while selecting the Sukshma and Prana. Sukshma Prana, first important condition I repeat again are the planets which are linked to the seventh cusp directly or indirectly. In simple words, I will say that any planet which is a cuspal co-ruler of the seventh cusp can act as a Sukshma Lord and Prana Lord with a condition that for Sukshma Lord, besides being a co-ruler of the primary cusp, it should also be linked to one of the supporting cusp, that is fifth cusp or it is the 11th cusp. Okay. So, any planet can be a Sukshma Lord if it is linked to the primary cusp plus supporting cusp. For a Sukshma Lord, now you have two supporting cusps for the marriage, 5th and 11th. So a Sukshma Lord should link to 7, should link to 5, should link to 11, and a Prana Lord also should link to 7, 5 and 11. Okay? Is it okay?
Okay.
Is it okay?
Moon can select, sir.
Yes. Yes, we can again select Moon as the Sukshma Lord because Moon is subsequently appearing for the third time. And Moon, I've already discussed, it has already satisfied the conditions of giving a strong promise by giving me 5, 7, and 11. Fifth at sub level, 7th and 11th at star lord level. Thereby, moon can again can be selected as a Sukshma Lord. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, after selection of the Sukshma Lord, the next question is selecting the Prana Lord. That which can be a suitable Prana Lord.
Prana Lord also moon.
Now, it can be moon, that is one, right? And then at the same time, it can be either moon or Mercury or Jupiter. Either moon or Mercury or Jupiter. Right? And if you remember, then I'll also have to look over here, look at the star lord position and the sub lord positions, that all the three planets, if any of these planets is in the star or in the sub of these planets, then they can also act as Sukshma lords or Prana lord, provided they satisfy the necessary condition of linking to 5, 7, and 11. I repeat this point again. Now here, after selecting the Sukshma, the next point is selecting the Prana lord. Now, the Prana Lord and the Sukshma Lord, they are selected. One of the conditions I've already explained. The second important point here, which you always need to keep in mind, is that this is possible only if the transit of Sun and Moon agrees. And if the transit of Sun and Moon does not agree, then this particular Sukshma Lord has to be rejected, and the same planet acting as a Prana Lord has to be rejected. What is important here? See, a planet is subsequently repeated as Antara Lord. No such condition is there. So we can say that Moon can be selected as an Antara Lord. So for Moon to act as a Sukshma Lord and for Moon to act as a Prana Lord, the first and prime important condition is that the transit of Sun and Moon should agree on the particular day when these Sukshma Lord are to be, when these Sukshma Lord are likely to operate. That is one important point. Second important point is that the Sukshma Lord and Prana Lord should be linked to all the three first 5, 7, and 11. And how to check whether they are linked to 5, 7, and 11? I have already stated that they should give a strong promise through the Star Lord and Sub Lord for 5, 7, and 11 linkages. So these linkages are very, very important. Now here, can I select Moon as the Prana Lord? Or can I select Moon as the Sukshma Lord? I will have to look into the transit of Sun and Moon to justify that Moon can act as a Sukshma Lord and Moon can act as a Prana Lord. Suppose if Moon is not acting as a Prana Lord as per the transit of Sun and Moon, then the next Prana Lord in the sequential order which I can have is Jupiter. Subject to the condition that Jupiter should give me a promise for all the three cusp, 5, 7, and 11. So any of these planets which is giving me a strong promise for 5, 7, and 11 linkages can be selected as a Prana Lord, subject to the condition that the Sun, the transit of Sun, and the transit of Moon that satisfies. Now, let me just check it out. Moon Sukshma, Moon Antara is up to 16.5 and Moon Sukshma is, okay, I just start from here. Bhukti of Moon starts from 27/3/2028. Moon Bhukti is from 27/3 20 28 2 25 11 2029. Okay. Moon Antra will be from 27/3/2028 to 16/5/2028. Right?
Yes, sir.
And if I select Moon Sukshma, Moon as Sukshma Lord,
27.
it will be up to
3.
31/3
2028.
2028. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if I presume that there is a moon prana, it will be up to 27/3/2028. Twenty-seven, 3/2028. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now the question is how to know. So what is the time period we have with us? Is 23/2028. Okay. So what I will do here is I will check the transit. So the date was 27/3/2028. Is it fine? 27/3/2028. Now Sun is transiting in Jupiter sign. Jupiter is okay. Jupiter is directly linked to 7 and 11. Right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? Now Sun is transiting in Jupiter sign, but in Saturn star.
Yes, sir.
Now Saturn is linked to 6 and 12 very strongly.
Yes, sir.
Though
नहीं कर सकता है सर.
transit in Jupiter sign is okay, but the transit in Saturn sign is not okay, because Saturn is nowhere linked to the 7th cusp. Saturn is 5th sub-sublord,
Yes, sir. He opposes.
and at the same time Saturn is linked to 6 and 12. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So what I need to do is, this event will happen, then Sun will transit into Jupiter sign, and the star lord should again be a planet. It should be, Sun should transit in a star that is strongly linked to 7. So strongly linked to 7, we have 3 planets only. One is Jupiter, other is Mercury, and the third one is Moon. Okay. So in Pisces, that is 12th sign, we have only 3 stars. First is Jupiter, which is up to 3 degrees 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Next it is Saturn, up to 16 degrees 40 minutes. It means that the transit of Sun in star of Saturn will not allow the event to happen. Okay.
Yes.
So till
Next to make star.
Yeah, till it is 1640. It means on 1st of April, Sun will transit in Jupiter sign and in the star of Mercury, which is okay. Nothing wrong with it. Right?
And Mercury sub also.
Mercury sub also, it is okay. It is okay because it's strongly linked to Sun.
Venus sub is also very good.
That is very good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now let us see the transit of Moon on this date. Moon is sitting in Venus sign and in Moon star. Even this is okay.
Yes, sir.
But sub is not.
Venus sign, Moon star, that is okay. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And if you look at the transit of Jupiter, Jupiter is transiting in Sun sign, which is also okay. Sun is a strong significator. And Venus,
Yes.
that is also okay. Only Ketu sub is not fine. Right? So that has to be changed. That will change in the transit. It means that 1st of April 2028, the transit appears to be okay. 1st of April 2028, the transit appears to be okay. Am I right?
Cannot follow, sir.
Okay, I'll just repeat. See, what did we write here? That the moon prana is up to which date? The moon prana is up to 27/3/2028.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 27/3/2028. Now look here, 27/3/2028. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So Sun is transiting in Pisces sign, Jupiter sign.
Yes, sir.
Jupiter is co-ruler of 7 and 11. Okay.
That is fine.
That is okay. Now it is transiting in Saturn star.
24, 27.
Saturn is no way linked to 7. Saturn is present as 5th sublord. That is one of the cusp which is important. And at the same time, Saturn is strongly linked to 6 and 12. It means that it can delay the event. The event is not likely to happen when Sun will transit in Jupiter sign and Saturn star. Is it okay?
Not okay, sir.
See, look here. If you look at the 6th and 12th co-rulers, if you look at the co-rulers of 6 and 12, 6th co-ruler Saturn is 6 sublord.
Yes, sir.
And Saturn is 12 sublord.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Saturn is 5th sublord.
Yes, sir.
Right? Appearance of Saturn as 5th sublord is okay. That is one of the significant cusp for marriage to happen. But simultaneous appearance of Saturn as sublord of 6th cusp and as sublord of 12th cusp, 6 and 12 simultaneously, that is not good. Why it is not good? Look here. Appearance of Saturn in 6th negates the 7th cusp, negates the spouse. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And appearance of Saturn in 12th cusp negates the ascendant, the native.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So native is being negated by appearance of Saturn in 12th cusp, and the spouse is being negated by appearance of Saturn in the 6th cusp. What does it mean? That the event of marriage will be delayed, means that there is little or no chance of the event of marriage to happen when Sun will transit in the sign of Jupiter, which is okay, but it will transit in the star of Saturn. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now you know that Sun will transit in the sign of Jupiter, in the star of Jupiter up to 3 degree 20 minutes, and in the star of Saturn up to 16 degrees 40 minutes. Am I right?
yes, sir. How do you say, sir?
Okay, I'll
According
just
to
write.
calculation.
Okay, I'll just write it for you. Now you see that we have 1, 5, 9, and the star lords for it are Ketu, followed by Venus, and then Sun. Okay? Then it is 2, 6, 10, and the star lords for 2, 6, 10, they are Sun, it is Moon, it is Mars. Okay? Then it is 3, 7, and 11. The star lords, they are Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, and for 4, 8, and 12,
Jupiter.
it is Jupiter, next is Saturn, next is Mercury.
Yes, sir.
Now, each of these signs is for a duration of how much? 13 degrees?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these 13 degrees 20 minutes. Right? Now if you look at Jupiter, now each cusp will be of how many degrees? 30 degrees. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now here, for watery signs 4, 8, and 12, that is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces.
Yes, sir.
Jupiter will stay from 0 to 3.20. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Because 10 degrees of Jupiter are consumed over here when it is in 3rd, 7th, and 11th sign. Saturn will stay here from
20.
to 16, 40, because it is for 13 degrees 20 minutes now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Mercury will stay there from
22, 16, 42,
16, 40 to
30.
30. You get this point?
Yes, sir.
Now what did I say over there? Sun was transiting in sign of Jupiter, Pisces sign. This is Pisces, 12, right?
Yes, sir.
It is in Pisces sign. Now in Pisces sign, it will be having 3 stars. First is Jupiter, second is Saturn, and the third one is Mercury. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now on the day, you know, on the day, when we are talking about moon prana lord, okay, it will start from, it will be up to 27/3/2028. Right? Moon Sukshma Lord is up to 31/3/2028. So you are just shortening the time period. Now, if you look here, Moon Sukshma is up to 31/3/2028. Moon Sukshma mein, and Moon Sukshma starts from where? Starts from 16/5/2028. 16/5/2028. Okay, from this period up to 31/3/2028, and this is up to 27/3/2028. That is the ending period of, ending date and time of the moon prana. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what we have seen over here in the ephemeris?
1st April.
On 27th, Sun was transiting in sign of Jupiter and star of Saturn. Right?
Yes, sir.
And the transit of Sun in star of Saturn is not okay. Right? If it is not okay, it means that it will have to transit in the next star. That is,
Mercury.
when Sun transits in sign of Jupiter and star of Mercury, then it becomes a fruitful significator to enact the event of marriage. Okay?
Yes, sir.
It is which date? 1st of April.
1st April.
And what is the date when the moon prana has passed away?
27th.
27th. It means moon cannot be selected as the prana lord.
Mars also cannot be selected.
Right? Moon cannot be selected as the prana lord. Mars cannot be selected as the prana lord. Rahu cannot be selected as prana lord. Jupiter could be selected, cannot be selected as the prana lord.
Saturn, not.
Not. Right?
Mars.
Yes.
Mercury is there.
Mercury is there. Now, what we need to do here is that after selecting of this Sukshma, now I will open up this transit chart. So the date which I am likely to put here, I will put here the date of this Antra, 16/5/2028. 27/3/2028. Is it fine? This is the time when the Bhukti of moon starts. Okay? 27/3/2028. Bhukti of moon starts from 27/3/2028. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And it completes on 25/11/2029. So the date for transit I'll have to put down is which? When moon Bhukti starts, which is 27/3/2028. Okay? So in the transit chart, I will put on the date of 27/3/2028. And the time period was moon Bhukti starting. I have written here somewhere. Moon Bhukti. What was the time? 1/1. So it is 0/1. I put here 10. That is the transit. That is the transit on 27th of March 2028. And now I have to focus here on the transit of Sun, transit of Moon. Now if these two transits satisfy, then I can say that Moon Sukshma, Moon Prana is okay. Otherwise, I will have to have some other prana lord. Is it fine, please? Nobody's giving any answer. Is this point okay?
Sir, moon is suitable, sir.
No.
As a Sukshma and Prana.
See, question is how do we how do we justify this? That is important. It is not that we are seeing that it is 5 7 11 5 7 11, so it is justified. No, this is
sign lord is Jupiter is there, no, sir. Sign lord and Venus also is there as a sub lord. That is
Venus sub lord is 5th sign lord, and Venus is strongly appearing in 6 and 12. That is indicating a delay for marriage.
Sorry, sir.
Right? That is indicating for delay for marriage. It does not say that the marriage will not happen. Appearance of 6-12 never means marriage will not happen. Marriage will happen, but marriage is delayed. Right? And if any of the planets appears in 6 and 12, then that particular planet is not a suitable one to enact the event of marriage. Right? So you have to skip over that planet and you have to move on to a planet which is not giving us 6 and 12. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Appearance of 6 alone, not bad. Appearance of 12 alone, not bad. But appearance of 6 and 12 together is not good. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now the question is on 27/3/2028, when you calculate, it is moon bhukti, moon antara, moon sukshma, and moon prana. Okay. Now the next point here, which is important one, is for the event of marriage to happen. Now, what is important that the moon star lord should be linked to the 7th cuspal sub-lord. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Moon star lord has to be linked to 7th cuspal sub-lord. And what is 7th cuspal sub-lord here? It is moon. It is moon. What does it mean? Now, if you look at moon, you know, either the moon star lord should be moon itself. Moon is present in the star of Jupiter. Moon is there. Venus is present in the star of moon. Jupiter is present in the star of moon. Moon is nowhere appearing in the sublord position. It means that the ascendant sublord that I can have for the event of marriage is either moon or Jupiter or Venus. Is it okay? Either moon or Venus or Jupiter. Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Excuse me for a moment. Now back. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now, what is the next important point is that the 7th sub-lord should be linked to the moon star lord. Now, the 7th sub-lord is moon.
Yes, sir.
It means the moon star lord can be moon. Then moon here, Jupiter is in the star of moon, Venus in the star of moon. So the second possibility is that the other possible star lords of moon can be Jupiter and Venus. Is it okay? Jupiter and Venus. And then moon is in the star of Saturn. So Saturn can also be the moon star lord in the transit. So then, moon should transit in the stars, which is Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, or moon itself. So you have 4 planets. Now here moon is transiting in which star? Mercury star. So Mercury star is not a suitable one,
Yes, sir.
right? So after Mercury, I'm going to have Ketu,
Ketu also not suitable.
not suitable. After Ketu, I'm going to have Venus,
Venus also not.
then I'm going to have moon. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Ultimately moon.
Ultimately moon. So then what I'll have to do here is, I will have to progress the transit. Now to progress the transit, I've told you the other day, transit advance by forward and backward. These switches are given over here. So you open it from here, then you put here 1 day.
Okay, sir.
It is K2. K2 is not suitable.
Yes, sir.
It is Venus. Venus is not suitable.
Yes, sir.
It is Sun. Sun is not suitable.
Yes, sir.
It is Moon. Moon is okay.
Okay, sir.
Now I have advanced by 1 day, and in order to get the exact time period, what I need to do is
20.
I will advance, change it from 1 day.
28th.
No, I will advance it by 1 hour. Okay. When I advance it by 1 hour, I get moon. So 1 hour is again a big time period. I would shift it back to get sun here, right? And then I will advance by 1 minute. I get moon here. From 1 minute time, I will advance it by 10 seconds. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, which date I am likely to get here? 31st of March 2028. Timing is 1:47 when the ceremony is likely to occur. So 31st 3/2028.
At what time, sir?
1:47.
Okay, sir.
1:47 at night. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Midnight.
Right,
Okay.
midnight. Now another point here is that the moon star lord should also link to the ascendant sub lord. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So then I can change it further. After Rahu, I'll get Jupiter. Is Jupiter linked to moon? Is Jupiter linked to moon? No. Right? Then I change to Saturn. Is Saturn linked to moon? Yes. So the time is 1:47:40 seconds. So the event of marriage is likely to happen on 31st of March 2028, and the time is 1 hours 47 minutes 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Right? Now what you find here, that what we were planning for the Prana Lord on 31st 3/2028 at 1:47, it is Sun. You get my point?
Yes, sir.
We have not got, see, that is the point at which I wanted to elaborate. We have not got Mercury, we have not got Jupiter, we have not got Moon. On the contrary, we are having Sun, because at this particular time the transit of Sun and Moon agrees.
Venus,
So it will be Venus, Moon and Sun.
Sun.
And Sun we have already studied. It gives us 5, 7 and 11. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sun we have already discussed here. Sun giving me 5, 7 and 11. And as it is giving me 5, 7 and 11, it can be a prana lord. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that is the time when the event of marriage can happen.
Okay.
Now your questions.
The time has been changed, sir.
Kanji?
Not 147.
147, 40 seconds.
40 seconds. Okay.
Any questions? So my basic point was that whatever you predict otherwise, sometimes you get the same prana, but the Sukshma Lord and Prana Lord are to be fixed on the basis of the transit of Sun and Moon.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you have questions, you can ask me questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it
Up to
clear?
now, clear, sir. Up to now, no further questions.
Okay. Now, I am writing this topic also
Yes, sir.
for the magazine, which will appear in the next month. Okay.
Okay.
In
Okay.
the coming month, you are getting the topic on childbirth, and after that, the next topic that I am going to write is on the marriage event, and I'll take this very example and one more example along with this. Okay,
Okay.
to explain the event of marriage.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
Okay,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you.